Sup nerds, this is Lesson from the Session, where I share with you my #1 lesson from my last session, Dungeons and Dragons. So here's the thing, and level with me here. A lot of DMs are haunted by the fear of not being prepared enough. Does that sound like you? That tiny voice in your head saying, "Oh, you didn't plan enough NPCs, your story's too thin, you know, your session is going to crash epically." Yeah, that voice. And it's not even telling you the truth, you know? It's feeding you complete and utter bullshit. Because if you ever feel like you're being underprepared, here's the cure. Just run a classic, good old dungeon crawl. No fancy politics, no 10-layer intrigue, just monsters, maps, and mayhem. And I'm gonna tell you right now what you'll actually need, so listen up. First, a rough sketch of the dungeon. And I really mean a rough one, you know, you can just hand draw the map, it doesn't matter, you know, if it's good enough for you, it's gonna be good enough for your players. Second, 3 types of monsters. Yes, just 3. Mix them up in different combos and you're good to go. Third, 1 simple sentence, which is a single goal for each NPC inside the dungeon. And that's it, then you're good to go. Then, and that's a special tip from my side because I felt that it always helped me greatly whenever I had to set up a game, write a short intro paragraph, you know? It's a great way to set the mood and pull the players right into your game. Once you start playing, you will realize improvisation flows much easier than you think, but it's always good to have something tangible, to have something written down, to start off, and then you can just let imagination take over whenever you feel like it, you know, whenever it feels naturally. And your little bullet points, just write them down on a piece of paper, put them on the table, keep it simple, you know, they're just your cheat sheet, they're not to be, you know, read in their entirety, it's just for you to take a quick glance on whenever you need it, right? It's your cheat sheet, it's like back in school when you had to write a test, remember? And I guarantee you, just like back in school, you know, at least this was the case for me, whenever I had to write a test and I had a cheat sheet with me, during the test I barely looked at my notes because I felt I didn't need them. I remembered everything on my own, right? And this is gonna be the same during your session. You will barely look at your notes once the game begins. And the best thing, once the game has kicked off, you know, once you're in the flow, you can still include your BBEG's epic intrinsic backstory. You can still include the parts of the lore you fell in love with because you will feel it comes naturally, you know? You will feel if you should come up with this kind of backstory and feed it to your characters or whether or not it will overwhelm them. Or if you should include this specific magic item which you always wanted to try out but never had the guts to actually do it because you felt like it's gonna break your game. You will just know whether or not it's the right time to use it. You know, these things come to you, right? Over improvisation, over association. This is how creativity works. So relax, take it easy, roll for initiative, and let your creativity unfold. Give your creativity some room to strike like a lightning bolt.